OK. Let me show you it has another entitlement, also right. So let me just open the security system. Go to admin, click this dot. Go to Identity Repository Security System and let me open that, our security system database training safe. Go to Endpoint. Click on the End Database Training Safe. Click on this entitlement type. So here we are viewing the HR right. So click on the HR. So this HR entitlement type, it is containing one or more entitlement. So that is floor HR and people HR. So if you simple, go by FL. OK. You can see this floor HR. OK, so these are nothing but your entitlement. OK. So now let's talk about user update rule, how this user update rule is going to work and what is. The user can save it. User update rule. So you have seen many times write this user right. If this is your HRMS database, I am bringing right day-to-day basis users. So these users are getting onboarded to your server, your saving system, through the user import right. So once you user here right, based on certain condition, right, they are getting access to different target system. So let's say, this is my DB training CF. And I have another system. This is called Active Directory, OK. So let's say this, XYZ user right. She got married. OK. And as usual, her surname got changed. Now she has a different surname. OK. She just informed the HRMS team right. I need to update my surname. So what will happen that time? Right, this HRMS team, whoever is there, they will update this XYZ surname to a different value. That new value right. So once it is updated through the user import as it is usual, right? It got updated. It will traverse through your save in system and this XYZ got a new value of the like her last name is changed. So there is a thumb rule in your saving, or it is in every place, right? Your email ID is always generated based on your first name, the last name and updating some number. If the name is not available and, at the rate, some value, like mailcom. It is already generated for you, as your last name is getting updated here, right? So the value of your last name also should change in your email address, right? It should changed, and also the email ID which is residing in your target application. Also, this value should be get updated. Right. So these information at what your value. It is getting changed here, right? So we should have a set of called your user update rule. So these user update rule always check if any update come for the user right. It will try to run the user update rule and in that user of the tool right based in condition. It will try to send your data or the information to your target system or your target application. So you can settle the user of the tool right. So time to time, it should run it. Basically, it is already there. It did not to be settled. Once it identify right your any changes it is bringing back right. So it will try to update it. So again, behind this user update rule also your rule run job is there. So basically, for your technical rule, for your user update rule and whatever, ending with the rule. So the concept is, background your rule run job is there. So this rule run job right. It always check the rule condition whenever any data is coming. It will try to run in the background and see what changes you are bringing back to Sabyint. And if found any new changes immediately based on your matching criteria, the user update rule will trigger. Okay, and it will try to give access to the database training CF. Let me find account which already present in your Sabyint. Okay, and we'll try to give access to that application. To that user, to our application. So this is our application database training, CF right. If I go to accounts. So we have certain user here, right? So now we are going to give access to a new user. So that is something you gotta request right. You know from one of the user. I need access to this application. So for sure, that is not a birthright right. So manually you are going to assign that account to the user. So sometime also write what happened. Let's say, this is your HRMS job run right. So from the HRMS, through the user, import this user, are coming to your Sabyint. Let's say, while passing this information, HR did a mistake. And they forgot to update some of the, mandatory attribute which is required to regard the technical rule. So that time, what would happen if the new user is coming to here, right? For sure the technical rule wouldn't be triggered for the user. So that time user will not have any access. So how this gonna work again right? You will get a ID, some ticket or a production ticket saying that this new user. Let's say, this. Kevin, the user didn't get any access. It is not trigger for him and he's not able to perform the task. So you have to go and check right. Why the thing rather technical route didn't trigger for him and you identified there is a mandatory attribute or attribute value is missing. That is why the technical rule is not trigger. Let's say, as for our condition. We have given CT value equal to CTC right. If that is there, the technical rule should trigger. So, but the HR right, they missed out to fill the value and the CT is empty for this user. So new user and when this new user is coming to Sabyint right, it got created here but technical route didn't trigger for him. So what will happen? He won't get any access in the target system. So that time what you gonna do right? You will have a dealer distribution list or any other media right. You should get notified to the HR system or you can inform the employee that your some CT value which is missing. That is why the technical rule is not trigger, so that user right he might need to reach to the HRSM team or however it is possible, right? So the HR will again updated the CT value of the user and the user data again. It will come to here right. But once the data come here, right? It is not again a birthright right. The user is already present here. So what will happen? The technical rule is not going to trigger now. Okay, it won't trigger because, as for the policy, technical rule always trigger on the day 1 itself. That is your 0 day. Provisioning. You called it or, like you know, it's a birthright. So basically, on the first day, only the technical rule used to trigger. So what will happen now? You have to accommodate that with your user update rule. So you gotta update from the user. You have to trigger a user update rule. Okay, but always remember there is a too bigger difference between your technical rule and update rule. Technical rule and user update. Rule. So through the user update rule, you can send some update, you can enable, you can disable something. Okay, or you can update something. You can, disable something, but you cannot eat a new thing. Understand, try to understand. You cannot eat a new account through the user update tool. Purpose is, the name itself. It is written, user update. That means you can send some update to the user. The update might be enabled or disabled, or like an update.